video lesson today is going to be about PyScript. PyScript is, as the name suggests, Python script. In other words, you can use Python in your HTML in an embedded way, just like JavaScript. You know, we've been manipulating DOM using JavaScript for many years, but now you can also manipulate DOM using Python thanks to PyScript. So first of all, make sure you visit this site python.net and click install, and all you have to do is to copy and paste this HTML code in the head section of your document. You know, DOM is actually the producer of your web page. So today we are going to manipulate DOM using Python. So let's create a new HTML document. Let's call it index.html, and let's use this template. And like I said, we are going to copy and paste this HTML code. So copy and paste it here. That's it. Now you can actually run Python script in your HTML web page. So another thing we are going to do is to use this style.css. You can download this CSS library from bootswatch.com. This is this one, and you can see how these HTML elements looks in this style sheet, in this particular style sheet. So we're going to use this to create our UI. Okay, so let's call this document DOM manipulation, and let's create our user interface. We are going to create a new form. So form. Then we are going to create a legend, okay, or a field set first. That's it. And now let's create a legend element here. So legend, and let's call it the text is going to be DOM manipulation using Python. Okay, so that's good. And now we are going to copy and paste the HTML elements we are going to use from that style sheet, the one I have just shown you. So first we are going to copy and paste a text, an input type text, okay, and we are going to also copy and paste a label, a kind of label. It's important to give an ID to your input type text. Let's call it txt input. And also it is very important to give an ID to your label, because we are going to output the result in this HTML element, this anchor element. We have this anchor element here, and the ID of this element is called output. So this uniquely identifies our HTML element, just like this ID here, and we use an inline style. We change the color blue, and also change the font size X large. Okay, so far so good. And now we need two buttons here. So let's use a button. Type is of course button. The ID is going to be, it's important to have an ID which is going to be run. So ID run, and also we are going to use a class here. So a class, sorry, class, and this is going to be button primary. And also it is also important to have a PyScript so a PyScript on click, and this is going to be count, because we are going to ask the user to enter a number, and we are going to tell the user, so we are going to output how many divisors that particular number has. So far so good, and let's put a break here. Yeah, like this. And now we need another button. So button type is going to be reset, and we are going to use a class. Yeah, and the the value of this button is going to be count. Okay, and this is going to be clear. So let's use a class here as well. This is going to be button danger. Okay, you can find all these classes in that particular style sheet which I have downloaded from bootswatch.com. So now we can have a look at the interface by using the live server. So let's see how it looks. It's not that good. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's stop the server. Oh yes, we should change this because actually our style sheet is in the root directory. So now let's try it again. That's better. So let's type here something and let's click here. Okay, so far so good. I think we should put a container. It doesn't look so good, so let me stop the server. So I think we should put a div here, a div element, yes, and the class is going to be container. And simply we are going to cut and paste our form from here to here. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay, so let's run the code again. Let's go live. That's better now. That's better. Okay. So I'm going to stop. We don't have to stop it actually, because if you use live server, that's a very useful extension of VS Code. If you use live server, whenever you change something in your HTML code and hit Control S, it is going to be, your web page is going to be updated and refreshed automatically. So okay, and now we are going to, now comes the magic part. So now we are going to write a type script. Okay, so outside the body, outside our body element. Okay, so let's use this PyScript. And first we should let's create a variable called user input, and we are going to assign a value to this, which is going to be obviously our input type, our text typed input field of our HTML document. So this element here, so we need this ID, so element, and as in case of JavaScript, we should specify the ID of that particular HTML element, so txt input. Okay, now let's create another variable. Let's call it OP, that's for output, OP for short. And of course the value is going to be element, and we have this output element here. So the ID of this element is output, so we should specify the ID here. And now we can define the function. So I mean, what should happen when the user click the count button. Okay, so on click. So we are going to write the on click event of this button in TypeScript. So function, the parameter we are going to use is this, actually two parameters, and the name of the function is obviously count. Okay, so because that is going to be the on click event, so we should write count here. Okay, and now we are going to create another variable. Let's call it n, that's number for short, and the value is going to be the number the user is going to type in, you know, here, type here. So we should convert it from a string to number. So let's use the int function, and simply we are going to use our user input variable. Now we have a variable user input, and we need the value property of it. So value. Okay. We need another variable, let's call it s, and the initial value is going to be 0. And now we are going to use the for loop. Okay, you know, as quite frequently you will need to repeat actions or step through parts of your data, you will need to use a loop. And the for loop typically uses a variable known as the counter or the index. So let's call it I. That's index for short. So it typically uses a variable called the counter or the index to keep track of how many times the loop has been executed, and it stops when the counter reaches a certain number. So in range from I to n plus 1, sorry, we need a colon here. And in that case, let's see if the number, now we are going to use the modulus, the mod operator. The mod operator returns the remainder after a number is divided by a divisor. So we are going to divide n by I, and if the result, I mean the remainder, is 0, so equal to 0, now you have to use the double equal symbol because this is a arithmetic operator, not an assignment operator. So actually not, sorry, comparison. This is a comparison operator, not an assignment operator. So in that case, we should increment the value of s. So s plus equal to 1. This is also an operator, an assignment operator. It means add and assign. Okay. By the way, you can let me show you the operators in Python. just a minute. Yes, so we have, so there are arithmetic, comparison, assignment, and logical operators, and actually there are some others, but these are the most important ones, as it strikes me anyway. So you see, we have just used this comparison operator, and we also use this assignment operator. So actually the double equal sign is also an assignment operator, which means equal to. So yeah, okay, good. Comparison operator. I think there is a mistake here, because equal to, not equal to. Yeah, I think, yes. So this is, yeah, this should come here. Sorry, this should come here. So these are the assignment operators, and these are the comparison operators. So actually I was right, because the double equal symbol, the double equal sign is obviously a comparison operator, because it compares the two items, the two elements. So it compares if they are equal in value. Okay, so this is obviously, these are obviously the comparison operators, and these are obviously the assignment operators. Now it's okay. So okay, so, and last but not least, we should simply output the result. So we should output S. So yeah, so we should use our OP variable, and we are going to use the write method, not like this. So not while, but write. Sorry. And S, that's it, I think. So let's check. Okay, so let's 4. Okay. The length of the text. No, actually we should change this. Sorry. So not the length, but the number you have just entered. That's going to be the message. So the number you just entered, has divisors. Okay, because this application is actually, so now let's save. You see, it is refreshing automatically. So now the number you just entered has 3 divisors, and that's true because 1, 2, and 4 are the divisors of 4. Okay, good. Because if you divide, if 4 is divided by 1, the remainder is 0. If 4 is divided by 2, the remainder is also 0. And if 4 is divided by 4, the remainder is 0. But if you divide, if 4 is divided by 3, the remainder is greater than 0. So it truly has 3. Let's try a prime number, for example 13. You know, prime numbers have only two divisors, one and the number itself. So the number you just entered has two divisors. So far, so good. Thank you for watching.